This is the Hip Hop Challenge, and what you can see on the track that I've created, you've already got the hip hop beat at 87 BPM, double checking it down on the tempo at the bottom. You then can see 3 chord progressions. That one's worth 4 bars, that's 2, and that is 2 as well. We bring that down so you can see all the music in the MIDI there. Now your first task is to make each chord progression last for 8 bars. Now, unlike a loop, you can't just adjust the end and pull it along. It won't work like that. You'll have to copy and paste it. So click on the track, click where you are, and then press Control and C or Command and C on a Mac. And for the first one, just click on bar 5, Command and V or Control and V, and then you've got your 8 bars. Next one down, again, click on the track, copy. This time you're going to have to paste it. Oops, a daisy. Make sure I do that right. Try again and copy and paste. You have to do it 3 times so you've got the correct number of bars. And then the last one, again, I've copied it and I've got the correct number of bars. At this point, I would suggest that you actually rename the titles on each one. You could call that, for argument's sake, MIDI 1. And the second one, MIDI 2, and the third one, MIDI 3. Just tie these things up. Now, we're almost there, but what I suggest you do is actually merge these tracks so you get a full 8 bars. So it's the opposite of splitting a track. So we click on it there. Oops, daisy. We're going to right click. Once I've highlighted, he says. I'm going to right click. I'm going to look to merge the regions. So I might have to do that on there. Oops. Oh, let's get this right. And highlight both of those and merge regions. Okay, so there we go. And the next one, I'm just hovering over here, left clicking and then dragging. So highlight the whole thing. And again, I'm going to merge the regions. And the last one, same process. And merge regions. Okay, I've now got almost what I want to get started. I just need to move things around a little bit. So the second MIDI, I'm just going to move to there, and then the last one to there. And that will give me my full 24 bars of music, which lines up perfectly with the drums at the end. Okay, so once you've done that, the next part of the task was to create 3 bass lines. One that goes along with this MIDI progression, then this one, and then finally this one. So I would suggest you can actually just use one MIDI bass track, and then take it for 24 bars. Pretty straightforward. So we're going to go to bass there. I'm going to go and pick an appropriate instrument. For this one, it'll be electric bass. Now, there's lots to choose from, clearly. There may be one that's specifically for hip hop. You may have to just have a bit of a play around to find what you like. I think I'm going to go for, just going to move down there, the hop bass. This is a synth bass. See how that sounds. Okay, that kind of works, but you can play around with it. I'm just going to add a bit of extra reverb on that bass sound. Now, the way of inputting this, obviously there's multiple ways. You could record and then just play off this pad here, particularly if you happen to have a touch-sensitive screen, you could use it that way. Or you can use the QWERTY keyboard on your keyboard, and you can see Z means a C, and so on and so forth. Or you've got a MIDI keyboard, which is probably the easiest way, but it's not the only way of doing it. The last way of putting your things in, of course, is penciling in using the piano roll view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record, and I've got to check, very importantly, what notes are actually in these chord progressions. So if I just click on that and look to edit those notes, so let me just see what we've got. Okay, so I can see there's a C. So the piece starts in the key of C. That's important. You know, I can sort of find that out from that bit of information there. Okay, so that's fine. So I'm just going to go back, ready to record my bass line. Just going to practice it. notice I've recorded on both tracks at the same time. That's not so good. Aha. Click on the bass. Okay, so I'm just practicing it through. This won't be perfect, but I'm going to give that a go. Okay. And I've missed something out, which is very important. So I'm going to press stop because I've realized my mistake. Absolutely essential. I have the metronome on. I'll make sure that's nice and loud. So it's going to give me a couple of bars in on the click. Really, really important to have a metronome whilst you're playing in. Once I've done that, what I might do, because it'll take a few times really to get that very effective, I might just have a look at what I've done against the kind of bass line of the chord progression as well. So really important I do that, and of course I need to quantize it. So if I just make sure I edit that, and I'm going to quantize that to a 16th, kind of do the job, I think. Just play back. One note I just want to check at the end is what is on that particular chord there. So again, quite neat to look at the piano roll view on that. And actually, you could look at piano roll view of the bass line at the same time. Anyway, it's going to look at that on its own. And I can sort of see, so I move that out into bar 8. Just check what notes we've got there. And that is an E. And then it's going to a G. So an E, then a G. Now with that in mind, this is sort of editing that I might want to sort of check on my bass line as well. So again, if I go to edit notes, I should really be using an E and a G at the end. So that's a C, a D, and a C. So actually that'd be better if I just move that. Oops, daisy, where we go? And that's going to be an E there. I'm going to delete that one, and I want to end with a G. Let me see if it's going to let me do that. It's going to have to make that a bit bigger to make sure I can move that into the right place. There we go, that's what I wanted. And I want to end on a G. So that is either going to be right up here, that high G, or going to take down. That'll be a bit low, I think. So I'm going to settle for that G there. So we ended up with an E, make it a bit longer, and a G. I think that'll be a bit more satisfying musically. Okay, so you see how I've edited that using the piano roll view, and then made it the right length. So let's just listen back one more time. Okay, and that clearly works a lot better harmonically because I've got the right notes at the end, the E and the G. Now this is quite a tricky challenge. I'm going to carry on my bass line, of course. I need to look at what's next and make sure it fits in. And then the last part of your challenge is to have fade outs in the very end sections. I haven't finished the piece, but you can see what I'm doing. And once you've done that, you do File, Save. That will automatically save in the correct place. Obviously, you call it your name. And once it's mixed down there, and you're happy with that mix, it'll take a pretty few minutes. You do File and Export to MP3. The MP3 you could then upload quite happily to Microsoft Teams. Okay, guys, I hope that's been useful. Look forward to